Welcome back to Total Disclosure. My name's Ty, and I'm your host and creator of the network. Super happy to be here, guys. Before we get into tonight's show, which is an absolute banger, as the kids would describe it these days, I suppose. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. If you want to share the show with your friends, family, your enemies, and all of it, that's great with me. But definitely subscribe, like this video, and if you want to support the channel further, definitely hit that join button and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. Don't forget, if you're a content creator, TubeBuddy is for you. In our description below, use code POP or tubebuddy.com/POP and get your monthly membership for a discounted price and help the show. Also, Movie Palette. Get your movie palette, your favorite movie on canvas, and bring your nerd cave or a centerpiece to your living room all in one. No one knows it's nerdy. It's awesome. Get 15% off by using code Culture Corner 15 at checkout. Sorry, that was a mouthful. But I got some sad news, everybody. I want to start the show off. We have a lot to talk about, a lot of good things to talk about, including, but not limited to, the inquiry into Anomalous conference is tomorrow. I'll be watching through the webinar, and it's going to be awesome. Leslie Keene speaking, Chris Mellon speaking, and so many other great people. Shout out to the guys that are Jay and James for putting this together. It's such an amazing event. I wish I could have went in New York City, but nonetheless, I can't. So next time, hopefully. Also, Travis Taylor seems to be under fire from guys like John Greenwald, who just had him on the show on the Black Vault, and guys like Stephen Greenstreet of the New York Post. We'll talk about that. Plus, some more, talk about the connection between the afterlife and UFO sightings. And we're going to be joined tonight by Huey, or Love Is Perspective on Instagram. But before we get into that, guys, I do want to let you guys know that Poptart has left the show. I don't know what to say about it. I can't put up with his attitude any longer. He kind of, goes into these fits, and it's happened multiple times at this point where I've said something in kind of like a snarky, joking manner about his like for Kanye, in a way that didn't, it's just amongst friends, and he takes it way too far, and he quit the show over it today. So I'm parting ways with him. I think it's the best choice business wise. And I saw you put up a video up today wearing like some mask. I wish him the best in his endeavors. And so we are no longer associated with Poptart. And we're gonna move on from that. I'm joined today by Love Is Perspective, aka Huey. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, man? How you
Nothing
been, bro?
much. I've been good. It's been a while. How's your contact been going?
Oh, it's been going pretty great, man. You know what I mean? Like I haven't really seen I probably have seen this one sighting but I'm not 100% sure. I saw like this yellow or orange orb just passing by, but I couldn't tell, 100% if it was them or not because I've been actually seeing a bunch of things in the sky lately and it's been going crazy.
What do you mean?
Like for instance, since like I said, since I've my through my experience of like Mount Shasta, since I
Yeah, yeah.
realized from satellites to actually being them when being in contact. The thing is that like I said, for me it was kind of hard to distinguish the two, at first because I couldn't, because sometimes you see something in the sky and then you think that is, and then you get emotionally excited. You know what I'm
Yeah, yeah.
saying? But
Prematurely excited where you kind of your brain allows you to see what you want to see.
Right, and yeah, in that kind of term, but like, but when I know and I recognize it's them and they're standing in a stationary, they just stand still, they don't move, they flash. That lets me know that's them 100%.
Right. So are you talking about like, so when you're seeing them, they power up almost?
Yeah, in a way, yes. They will flash at you. They'll indicate like they'll acknowledge that you're there with them.
Right, right. Now, how do you, do you use like a laser pointer or anything?
No, I don't use laser pointers. To me, like this might sound kind of like weird to others, but like I just find it kind of disrespectful.
Oh, okay.
Only because
I,
it's like imagine if some dude like was pointing like a laser beam at you, like imagine if you're driving, right? It's pointing their light, like and then blinding you. So like I don't use that, man.
that's so funny. You're so respectful.
Yeah, like it is what it is.
No, that's funny. So I did want to talk about this Travis Taylor situation. Now, Travis Taylor is a renowned astrophysicist, and he he's on that show, you know, the Skinwalker Ranch show, The Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch. And he's been in shows for the last 12 to 15 years, like Ancient Aliens. He's done multiple things for History Channel. And the list, he's 12 books. Like the guy has done everything from, you know, public domain, private sector, governmental work. And not only is he doing these shows like Skinwalker Ranch, but he's writing, which we find out later on, he's the one who's leading or heading up as the main scientist for these programs that the Pentagon are running. So he's part of the UAP task force, right? As a scientist, someone that they are, conferring with. So he's kind of wearing two hats at once, if you will. Now he has been under attack um, by guys like Stephen Greenstreet of the New York Post. And, Greenstreet in himself is kind of a conspiracy theorist in a way, in the sense where he takes everything to the extreme. He's had some great points about like the ATIP program. He raises some very valid points in his like documentary that he did for the New York Post's YouTube channel. And I think there is some vindication that he needs to have had, because he did do the legwork for it. But I think he leans so far into the wrong questions. He's busy asking about Lou Elizondo's background, and not really acknowledging that contact is being made every day, right? Through C5, through human initiated contact and spirituality. Like, they're all asking the wrong questions.
Yeah, essentially, I feel like they definitely do keep this like all mostly like a mystery, almost like it doesn't. Oh, this can't happen or that can't happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
They're all working under the guise that, you know, there's no acknowledged there's no acknowledgement, from the government to the people that we are not alone in the universe. But if you ask the citizens, they're going to they're the ones that are going to tell you they already know we're not alone. Like, at this point, we don't really even need the government to acknowledge it, because most people know that either some form of non-human intelligence exists, or B, that we're not alone in the universe, right? Whether or not they visited Earth, that's where the debate comes in. But most people, you know, unanimously agree that we're not the only ones, and we might not even be the only ones on Earth, right? So these guys like Greenstreet, like Stephen Greenstreet of the New York Post, these guys like John Greenwald of the Black Vault, they spend so much time digging into like the governmental like cover up that it's almost like counterproductive because the government's not going to cooperate if we keep trying to label them as criminals. Like eventually we're going to have to make allies with these people, with the government, so that we can all move forward. That's the goal, right? Is a unanimous humanity, a united humanity, all striving to be part of that cosmic brotherhood.
Yeah, like and that's the thing, man. You see what I think I don't really, like I said, me personally, I don't know who these two people are 100%. But what I can say is that if we keep letting ourselves get ruled or get told by the government what is and what isn't, that is only going to divide us. That is not going to.
Yeah, that's division incarnate.
Right, and that's the crazy part, that if we keep dividing each other over and keep doing this recycling thing, whether you believe this and he believes that, it's like I wish we can all just agree on the terms and try to expand on those ideas before letting those ideas get away. You know what I'm saying?
I do. And I mean, what do you find yourself not caring about any of this, like UAP report stuff?
I mean, it's gotten to the point where, like, okay, they're telling us the truth, but in a very vague way. Saying UAP, saying UFO, that is not really telling us anything. That's just giving explanation to what you're trying to explain. When it comes to these UAP reports, essentially, because since I'm a person who does contact, it's like, I'm at a standstill with all the things that they're releasing, because
Because
it's not
you already have a confirmation that it exists.
right.
You're
Exactly.
you you're like 22 steps ahead of the government, because or at least the government facing programs to the public. Like you are already you don't need to be told by someone, "Hey, by the way, something, we're not alone." Because under your guise, you're making contact already. Like you bypassed everything.
Yeah.
Eh, you know? So like all of this makes no difference to you. Am I right?
Yeah, and it really makes no difference, bro.
That's so. And do you think that more people need to do what you're doing? Because should we all right, here's the problem. And this goes towards, even the origin or the origins of the human race. Should we wait to be told, or should we go find the answers ourselves?
We should definitely find the answers ourselves, man. Like, think about it like this. Okay, like, essentially, okay, what were the ancients doing a long time ago when there was no government? They had to discover everything by themselves. Without those people, we wouldn't know what plants to eat. We wouldn't know what things that we would need to, like, feed and things like that. Like, they had to go through survival until they figured out, oh, that there's a spiritual path to all of this, which is growing with consciousness you know
Yeah, and consciousness is definitely the next form of evolution in the human, you know, uh, uh, the human process, because we are not challenged physically anymore. We are the top of the food chain as far as Earth and its known habitants. You know, the next stage of our evolution will be consciousness, in consciousness based. You know, be, that's the only way up from here, right? We've kind of perfect, unless maybe lower back pain could be fixed, but in a few organs, could be perfected, if you will. But and then I think along with technology, the correlation between the two, like uh, as the better medicine gets, the less we have to worry about. The only way that we're going to evolve is mentally, right? Because that's going to be the only thing that challenges us anymore, is our constant need to create. And to create, we don't necessarily need the fingers and all these things. we do, but they're already perfected enough where we can, work with computers to build what we need them to build. You know, that so consciousness and our mind, our brain, those are going to be the next things to evolve to some higher state. And I think that's where the singularity comes in, right? Is when, you know, vocal communication goes away and a more telepathic communication comes into play. When you can read someone's intentions, and lying, all those things go out the window when you can read someone's intentions. So, thus, a better community, right? Like it's just that things progress in these natural states.
Yeah, it is something that I feel like humanity, I feel like consciousness is really the only thing that we all need to focus on. Only because is that sure, we have our physical self, but the more we explore what the mind can do and how deep we can actually get, it's going to be to the point where we wouldn't need to eat food anymore. I know this sounds crazy, but we
No,
would.
where your body would be able to produce the nutrients itself.
Yeah, within yourself, because that's how powerful your mind can be. If you okay, let's say this. Let's say somebody tells you your whole life you're going to be like this and you're going to be like that when you grow up, and you start believing that. That's going to make like a chain reaction within your life. And because you start believing that, oh, like I'm going to be this because this person told me that, and now this person's telling me this. So let's say nobody told you anything about anything, then what would happen, you know?
Sorry. What do you think? Do you think that humans will communicate vocally in the next? Say we could skip ahead 25 to 30 years. Do you think that the vocal communication is still going to be the main form of communication?
If we're still alive at that point, then most likely I believe that vocalization wouldn't be a necessary thing anymore if we grow upon us talking and start mentally speaking with each other.
Okay, and what? Why? So why is it that? So I don't know if you heard about this, but um, the Virginia case, and other cases, where there was a being in some form or fashion relayed the message that they felt bad for humanity because you have all the tools that you need. You're just not using them the right way. Like that your spirituality needs to evolve. Like it that's what your consciousness, your mind, like that is what sets us apart from everything else on this planet, right? That is what makes us the top of the top of the top. And we haven't even scratched the surface on what is possible via that tapped into consciousness.
Well, I'm not gonna get carried away and say that we're the only animals that could evolve, knowing that essentially I believe everything can grow in consciousness, even bugs, even, small things that or like animals. I've like throughout the years of this my lifetime, like I've seen, animals that do very, very intelligent things, almost to the point where I believe everything will evolve.
Oh my god, imagine a dolphin was the next animal to like kind of like pop out of the ocean.
Bro, that would be insane.
That'd be so insane.
Like I feel like the thing about a dolphin though, they already use from science calculations, they say that,
They use a language.
yeah, they use 20% of their brain and they're actually speaking through telepathic means. So
Well, that's a series of clicks, um, telepathic, like sonarish capability, and there's like the dolphins use many forms of communication. It's not just The main one is like a click though. It's clicks like that are can be heard miles and miles and miles away.
Right, but that's still like an interference of vibration. They're still picking up on something that is allowing them to know where that.
Yeah,
In-
no, it's fucking amazing.
yeah,
Like
no,
it's
I believe that
amazing.
100%. That's beautiful. And but that I feel like, look, I feel like there's certain things in this.
Imagine I could use my mind and a form of clicking of my mouth, and you could hear it miles and miles away. You could pick it up like a radio wave. Imagine that. That would be fucking insane. I mean, I theoretically that's kind of what we're doing right now. If you think about it, we use technology. I'm speaking into this microphone, it's going into the computer is sending it to you. So like in a way, but dolphins can do this without any of the technology. So that's pretty fucking crazy.
Right, the fact that they're already receiving before
Yeah, think
being.
about that. I bet no one's ever made that fucking analogy. Think about that. Dolphins can fucking podcast without any of the computers, right?
Right. Yeah.
Already, dolphins are able to podcast. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, man, and that's the thing. I feel like, there's certain animals that already tell us like you have that ability as well. It's just, the thing about humans, I find it to be like we call ourselves a mystery, right? We call ourselves like to me I feel like being human is the most craziest thing. Like I don't know why people don't realize like the fact that what you see when I wake up, me still being a human, I'm like, damn, I'm a fucking human being, you know? Like I don't get, look, like to me I still
Like,
freak
how
out.
lucky are we?
Yeah, exactly.
How lucky are we that we were born a human being?
Right.
Every day I'm thankful, so thankful that I'm a human being. It's not even funny.
Man, it is a beautiful experience, and I
And
believe
that
that we're all here
and
to
and,
experience.
and then think about this. Think about the planet we got. We got this beautiful, 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 mountainous, rocky, pasture, ocean, glaciered oasis around us. And I don't think that we take stock too much of those things around, like even cities to a degree, and rural neighborhoods, all the beauty, the just absolute beauty that we live in. Um, who's to say this isn't paradise already?
Right. And the thing is, but it can be both hell and heaven at the same time.
For sure,
Depending on your state and
but
depending on what
for
place you were born.
depending on your perspective.
Right. Exactly.
So what is your perspective?
My perspective on, well, like oh wait, on
All
what?
right, tell me this. Tell me this. What do you believe happens to us after death, and how do we connect that to living this present life?
Okay, well, the form of death I can describe as more because I had a near death experience the moment that I was born. So, I've only had 1% chance, like I said in the last podcast, but I already been through death, so I can say to you that essentially death is more of another life, it's between two worlds already. So the thing is, the moment you die here, you're still going to be the same person that you were inside your body, with the same conscious thoughts that you already have here. It's just the more knowledge that you have and the more you grow, I feel like essentially you will take all that knowledge with you, and essentially, and I believe that your voices carries on as well, and as your thoughts. So what I mean by that is, let's say this, you know how a computer, like, I can use this, like when you transfer data into a computer in a file, the same way we process things here, and whatever we process is whatever we're going to generate, and whatever we become next. But I do believe that when you die, that the ultimate test is to think for yourself, no matter what. Because look, you don't know who's waiting for you on the other side. You don't know what being or this or that is going to wait for you to talk to you about your experiences. You know what I mean? Like,
I do.
that's why I'm saying that we have to be careful even when you die, because you don't know those beings on the other side. You must think for yourself no matter what.
I agree. I agree. And thinking for yourself, and the more I like that, the more you learn in this life, the more you take with you to this next place. Something that was said to me a while back stuck with me so deeply, in the sense that it's now kind of what I perceive. And it's that, what if consciousness came first and then the Big Bang, right? Because if you look at like an electron, it acts a certain way, almost dormant. But when you look at it, when it knows it's being looked at, it's a weird thing to explain. Once it's actively looked at, it reacts a whole different way, right? Like it knows it's being watched.
Mm.
What if consciousness came first, put its focus on the universe, boom, the Big Bang happens, right? What if consciousness is a signal that's always being broadcast and we're just the radios? So if you break the radio, if we die, if our radio is broken, the signal remains there. The body does not. That's and I I don't know how accurate that is, or if that's the truth, but it that makes me feel better when I think like that, right? Like because we know, or scientists have essentially proven, that the brain does not produce consciousness, right? Consciousness, it lives outside of the body, to some degree. And I think that is the most fascinating thing.
Yeah, man. And I feel like the I can add more to that. Like, I believe consciousness does derive from source. I believe there's a source to consciousness that allows everything to move, to operate, to eat, to do everything that is possibly physical in this reality. And I want to come back to what you said about the Big Bang. Now, the Big Bang, I personally, the more I research and dive deep into what the Big Bang was, at least what mainstream science describes as it, I don't personally believe into the fact that the Big Bang happened. I believe more that the universe was already here to begin with. Well, there is no beginning nor end, only because it's infinite. This universe is infinite. So our consciousness is too. Because energy cannot be created nor
Or
destroyed.
destroyed.
So essentially, so if
Matter.
right,
Mat- Matter can't be created nor destroyed, not energy.
I feel like it can go both ways.
It
Only
can't.
because,
It abs that I'm listen, I I I fundamentally disagree
mhm.
with that. Just I'm in a good way, like in a healthy way. Energy can be created, right? Splitting the atom creates energy, right? Matter, on the other hand, cannot be created nor destroyed.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah, I
Yes.
understand where you're coming from. So
Yeah.
yeah, like because you see, because yeah, like if you put it with matter, I feel like matter already existed no matter where it is.
But
Like the same.
matter is what makes up the universe. So
Right,
energy
exactly.
comes from matter. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, because everything has a transfer the same way when you plug in a source, like to charge up your phone. You need a source in order to make all of this happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I it's so it's so complex that it's almost like mind bending to think about, right?
Oh
That
yeah.
about consciousness. But I think it's these conversations that allow us the ability to even per, to even have to even qualify to evolve in such a way, right? We need to be able to ask ourselves these questions about ourselves, what our place in the universe is, what happens after we die. We have to be able to have those conversations for us to evolve, for our consciousness to reach a higher state. Because if you're not having those conversations, then you haven't achieved true, you know, um, um, you know, true intelligence, if you will. Like a dog is conscious, but it doesn't contemplate its life, right? We
Right.
know a dog is conscious because I can, my dog gets excited when he sees me. He knows me, but he does not contemplate his own life like we do. So we have reached a different pinnacle of consciousness than my dog, right? So if you would think about it like stages of evolution, just like physical evolution, then yes, we are going to get, whether that's mending with technology or not. I don't know if that's a natural progression. Does that always happen across all intelligences or intelligent beings? I don't know. Is it a merge, a singularity between the two that creates some higher form of consciousness? Who knows? But one day we are going to be more than what we are now. And we're going to be capable of what we would perceive now as magic. Just the same way someone from the Renaissance would look at us like we were fucking wizards,
Yeah.
you know? So this is a natural turnover, if you will. And it's only going to keep going at this rate. At humans, humans specifically, you know if you were to categorize what we do, we create, we 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 want to make shit, we want to make more shit, better shit, we want to upgrade shit. Like that's what we do. We create, and that's what makes us, and that's what separates us from everyone else, right? Or everything else on this planet, as far as we know it. um you know and it's a special thing. We've been given a special chance at something truly remarkable, and I think far too many people do not use this life that we are given in a way that they should. We are not meant to just go to work, go home, you know, raise the kids. Like, this is not all life is. Yes, those are parts of it, but that's not all life is.
Think about like this, I was just having this thought. You know how like everything fundamentally is designed for us already. Like meaning like our geometric pattern, the way we have legs, arms, essentially everything is perfect through geometry, the way the
Yeah.
universe is structured. So I feel like our biology, our anatomy that was created through this life, I feel like it's all built upon everything that we have manifested, and what the universe has led us and what we created within it. So, you know, and the thing about us is that, sometimes we tend to move backwards when it comes to this type of form and technology, when it comes to nuclear weapons, total chaos and destruction towards ourselves. I feel like that obliteration between us, doing that, I feel like I hope that will give us a chance to realize what we are doing to ourselves and this planet. Because, consciously speaking, this planet is alive and we're standing on it and it's very sacred,
Dude,
to
we are living in like I said, we are living in an absolute paradise. And
right,
far too many people do not realize that the life that we've been given is such a unique one, right? One that we all need to take stock in. All of us need to go up and experience a thunderstorm in a mountain range, right? To be one with nature, right? To feel what it feels like to be primitive. Not primitive, I guess that's not the word. And wow, what an honor. Even though this was an impromptu show and we didn't get to promote it much, we don't have that many people here live, but um, Kurt, who is I guess a friend now, right? I'd consider a friend of one of the biggest shows on YouTube, in my opinion, Theories of Everything with Kurt Jai Mungo. Hey Tyler, hope you're well. Dude, I hope you're well. You're absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to get you on the podcast one day so we can have an in depth conversation. Our relationship actually sprung from me criticizing him, right? In his interview with Dr. Greer. But now I see it from a different perspective. And I was able to go relook at it. And I think Kurt was very fair in that interview. But we'll talk about that at another date. So to go back to it, then in Kurt, I hope everything's going well. I really do hope to meet up soon so we can talk. Um, so much stuff is in the works. So, it'd be really fun. And Kurt has such tremendous guests, such tremendous conversations. Love, have you ever checked out his show?
Oh yeah, I've seen his show, man. His show is pretty amazing. I actually saw the Dr. Stephen Greer one, and I got pretty excited for that. Like I kind of did wish that some of the questions were kind of more like more in depth, but I understand. Some people
Well,
go too.
Greer, here's the problem. Here's the problem. Greer overtook that conversation and did not let the hosts of the show. Now, I know that you support Greer, but Greer did not let them get a word in edgewise. And Greer is famous for that. Greer could talk for and that's one of his qualities. He can talk for 4 hours fucking straight with no, like, and some of the shit he says, the physics are off, right? And Kurt is a physicist, right? Like, he was just trying to explain the physics and how Greer was wrong and in certain things, but right, but gave him credit for being right in other things. But Greer wouldn't let him get a word in edgewise.
Yeah, that was the problem, man. I didn't really like how Stephen Greer kept saying that, oh, like I can't really tell you the physics because people won't understand it. Like,
It's
bro,
like you're talking to the
exactly.
person who would. Fuck. Oh God, it drove me nuts. But no, Kurt's such an amazing guy, and he's had guests like Jacques Fillet, Avi Loeb, like just absolutely amazing, amazing people. And Kurt, if you ever want to put me in touch with them, holla at your boy. Just saying, we're gonna get something good going. But back to our conversation. So spirituality, in consciousness, eh, those are the next stages of evolution, in my opinion, for the human race. Spirituality, I think, comes with the territory because, in your opinion, do you think there is a God or a supreme being?
Okay, well, like I already said before, the thing about when I speak about God, I do think of him as source. It's a source that we all had. Like me growing up as a kid, I can't lie. I was like a atheist. At least I called myself one. I never really understood what God was. Like, but I believed in everything else. Like I believed in extraterrestrial spirits because all of that made sense to me. But I didn't really understand what God was until until I started going diving deep into consciousness, and I started realizing that I started realizing that God, in the Bible it says God is omnipotent, meaning that He's everywhere, and that God is all of us, and that God is all these trees, and what God can be anything, and And essentially, and what I try to say by that, and whether there is a supreme ruler or not, like I don't, like, because people talk about hell, like saying that, oh, the supreme ruler will take you if you do this and that, and won't forgive you for what you've done. But if God is all loving, all powerful, all knowing, then he would know that this person would have already done those actions before they would have done it, because he was the creator of ourself and everything that's already here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know, I've always had a problem with the word God. Um, as a recovering alcoholic, in AA, they
Mm,
were they try to push God on you, and at that time I was not ready to have that conversation. Um, I felt something spiritual, a connection spiritually, with something, a higher power of my choosing, though, and I didn't know what that was because at that point, I I was agnostic and I was just finding, this other side of me, and I think that's what fascinates me with the UFO subject as well is I think by answering one question, right? The two questions that have pondered human beings since thoughts could be perceived by us, what happens after we die and are we alone in the universe? And who knows, by answering one of these questions, could we potentially answer both? And what would that do to our civilization as a whole? Would would we collapse knowing what happens to us after death? Are we ready for those answers? Do you
mm.
think we're ready?
I think that the only way to be ready towards these kinds of things is that if you really put yourself going through this journey. I feel like that's the only way that somebody can really learn and go through whatever journey they can to really do this. I feel like there has to be something that pushes you to even do any of these things.
I do. I do. I do. And part of me gets kind of nervous talking about God because and I choose the word God to, more of as more of a visual representation. I do believe that there might be some sort of supreme being. Um, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but there was a guy that Richard Doty spoke of, and they were they I can't tell the story exactly the way that it was, so I'm paraphrasing just for the record, but these these beings were making regular contact with the gentleman, um and the government knew about it after the fact, and it was only towards the man's death that he decided to give up what the beings had given to him, and included in a couple of the things that were given to him by the beings was a statue of what the guy said was their supreme being. So even these ET, races, if this is true, have some sort of knowledge or, faith in a supreme being, even at an advanced stage. So who's to say, if this is all, working on the assumption that there's a truth to this, what does that say? Or is it built into us to perceive something higher than ourselves as a god, or is there actually a god? You know, it, do we just want there to be something so that we can cope, or is there actually something?
Hmm. I look, like I said, I've done my research and I felt this. I 100% believe that a higher power or source does exist, knowing through my experiences of this life. I've gotten, very lucky in various situations. that, like, I don't believe nothing is coincidental. Everything happens for a reason. And, and whether there is a God watching us, I strongly do believe that essentially, if we were to take apart, the word God itself, and because it's literally only three letters, and the part of me what thinks is that, okay, what we call God is what we hope for what God is, a being who is loving, a being who is all wise, all knowing. But then once again, I don't believe that God is all of that either, only because how neutral everything is here, because of nature, because of us, because of what has been created to be.
Yeah. And, you know, do you think that if we were to be able to travel across the universe, that life wouldn't look so much different than us most of the time?
Oh yeah, I believe that 100%. I don't believe that all of this looks like this 24/7. That would be very boring.
Yeah. But do you think so, or like what's your theory on that? Because, you know, the 5 point system seems to be, essential to becoming intelligent, or at least having the right conditions to stand up straight, right? And become like, become hominids, or early hominids, how, from apes, on fours, or walking on all fours, stood up on two legs, and then, you know then the process takes over. I'm sorry, I'm not too well versed in that stuff. But could a dolphin do what we've done? I don't think so. They would have to develop fingers. I don't know. I just don't know. Could they develop, are they evolving, consciously in the ocean right before our eyes? Most likely. I guarantee it. But each planet seems like, if we were to travel across the vastness of the universe and take stock of what we see, I think life would look very similar to us in most cases. Intelligent life. Or at least the beings that became intelligent. Maybe the mammals, and the reptiles, and the fish, and the sea creatures, all, maybe those looked radically different, but the intelligent being, I think, would look like us. Or, maybe a different skin color, or, you know different eyes, to accommodate a different type of sun, or, those minor differences, but I think we would look very similar throughout the galaxy.
Yeah, I feel like it's really hard to comprehend, only because this is like, you know, like, only it not hard to comprehend, but more of the fact that I feel like, okay, if the Greys, if the Pleiadians, if like other beings were to look alike and just like us, I feel like then that would prove that, that one picture with the the main one with the hands, and like the geometric pattern, and some dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like that's the I feel like that's a very universal thing, and also amongst other beings.
Okay,
I
okay.
do believe that.
So, are you talking about like the Da Vinci thing?
Yeah, the Da Vinci, yeah, the Da Vinci of the scripture of the
Hold on, I'll find it.
all
Da
right.
Vinci's, um fuck. Or was it Da Vinci? God, I wish Kurt was still here. Ah, God.
Yeah, man, but you know what I'm talking about, right? The universal law of like us having hands and a head, and the geometric pattern.
Yeah, I'm gonna search for it. It's called the something man.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Sacred geometry. Oh, come on.
Hey, bro, I found it.
What is it?
Just look up sacred geometry, Don Stadford.
Just send me the link.
All right, got you.
Ah, the Vitruvio man.
Yeah, that.
Yes. That. Uh. Yes. Okay, I gotta go, Tyler. Message me. We'll message on Twitter under a diluvial amount of work currently. So please give me some time. Take care, man. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I'll hit you up. And the Vitruvio man. Yes. Was that Da Vinci? Why do I feel like that was Da Vinci? I could be so wrong. But thank you so much for popping in, Kurt. Huge shout out to Theories of Everything with Kurt Jai Mingle. It is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, talk like physics talk shows, or I don't know what, like science shows, science talk shows, that I've ever watched. The amount of guests he's able to bring in is absolutely incredible. Um, but let me bring this up. The the Vitruv. Yeah, it was Da Vinci.
Yeah, Da Vinci. Yeah, Da Vinci Code. Yeah.
All right, so I'm not fucking crazy. It was Da Vinci. And I knew it was the something man. See, I'm not totally useless. I I know a little bit about a lot of shit, but not a lot of shit about a lot of shit.
Yeah, I know. I feel that.
Of course, it's not something I can bring up in StreamYard.
But you get what I mean by the concept of like that being like the universal thing.
Yes, I think this would be the universal system. So that's why people talk about sacred geometry. Is it's sacred geometry for the same reason that um it's sacred throughout the universe. It's not just sacred here, it's sacred throughout the galaxy, throughout the universe. Like this is it right here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
So so if you were to to put a gray alien over this, they would be the same.
Yeah, as long as they still match on what the two arms, the head, the legs, as long as it
They do.
defines.
They
Right.
do. If what we know about them is true, then they do have two legs, two arms, a head that is a little bit more bulbous, but they have the 5 point system. So don't the Nordics. So don't um um the fucking Anunnaki. So don't the um, Pleiadians. Like this is constant, and the phrase "we were created in God's image."
Right.
Well, what if it was God with a lowercase g? What if the Anunnaki or one of these, um, uh, uh, you know, what we perceived as gods because their technology was so advanced, they created us, or messed with our DNA to make to turn primates into the main contender for us because they were the most likely choice, the most intelligent choice on this planet, right? um and they turned us, they messed with the DNA, and they created us, and because there is a huge leap in brain development, and the growth of the human brain over a certain period of time, a very short period of time, that no one can explain. So what if that's when we were messed with and we were accelerated, right?
Mm.
And who knows? Who knows? But all I know is this is a constant throughout the universe. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I definitely believe that as well because nature shows us all the time and it represents itself, so it's a reflection of nature and it's a reflection of us and everything that was
Look
made.
at the galaxy.
Yeah,
Look
every
at look at the galaxy and then look at DNA and then like all there is so much repetition in the galaxy. It's not even funny. Like the, there are geometric shapes that are recurring throughout the galaxy so often, so often. And there is some form of sacred geometry, and that's my opinion.
I because look, it's all like I said, it really all takes. I love how the universe, because we're all made up from the same materials that were created by the universe, that was created through the galaxy, nature. Everything is all connected. Like if because if it wasn't, everything would be, nothing would be in order. Everything would play out like it was nothing. Like nothing would make sense if it wasn't this type of design. You know, like the
Right.
design's crazy.
So I want to read what sacred geometry is before we wrap up.
All right.
Sacred geometry ascribes symbolic and sacred meanings to certain geometric shapes and certain geometric proportions. Hold on, I want to change our format here. There we go. Okay. Can you guys read that?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, it is associated with the belief that a god is the creator of the universal geometer, the geometry used in the design and construction of religious structures such as what? Such as churches, temples, mosques, religious monuments, altars, and tabernacles, has sometimes been considered sacred. The concept applies to sacred spaces such as, all right, all these places, uh, Medela Gardens, and the creation of religious and spiritual art. Now, I did not know that that was the case. But sacred geometry could also apply to the pyramid, I believe, right?
Oh yeah,
That
100%. That's
the pyramid is a sacred geometrical um, um, form that has properties that are, you know, more than the average geometric shape.
yeah, like I believe that's too perfect, too perfect to like to actually be how it is, and the fact that it's aligned with the stars of or Orion, and they knew how to calculate all of this stuff correctly so it doesn't mess up. Like the way that this was the
To
way that
me, that's sacred geometry, not churches.
Yeah, yeah, because you see, because since we're using it in a because since they're using it in a way that, oh, what we see here, but not beyond what we see somewhere else is I feel like everything is sacred geometry. Like even the way we build houses, there has to be a design in order for something to work.
True, true, true. One last question, buddy.
Hmm.
Um, what are your thoughts on CE5 and Heis? And no, well, you know what? Let's skip Heis. What are you? Um, are you know? God, I can't even phrase this question correctly. With CE5, what do you want to tell people about CE5 and its relation to Dr. Greer, because there are other human initiated contact protocols that are being created, like HEIS and other organizations that are doing it in different ways, but under the same guise, just kind of taking Dr. Greer in his name out of it. What do you think about that?
Well, what I personally think is that, CE5, it really sucks that that it should be like I don't like the fact that we came to the point where it became like a brand name, you know. I feel more of the fact that like whoever is running this operation or running this movement of putting this kind of information out there, I think that I feel like they, instead of, because they call it a protocol, which I understand, but then at the same time, it's like it shouldn't be considered a protocol either. This is just something that I feel like we can all do. We can all respectfully connect with if we choose to, because like I said, we don't need Stephen Greer. We don't need these kinds of group of people. Maybe the only thing that we do need is the information, and that's really about it. But I feel like it's all up to you at the end of the day if you really want to go out there yourself and do this, for yourself, because nobody at the end of the day can convince you that this is real, this is fake. If you really want to find out something, go do it yourself.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Where can they find you on social media, brother?
Instagram, love is perspective, and my YouTube is exterior knowledge.
Exterior knowledge. All right, all right, all right. Dude, thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Oh yeah, of course,
What a
man.
great, what a great, what a great, great fucking episode. Um, we got really deep into some things, and I can't wait to. We're doing a show again tomorrow. Um, with Paranormal Greg, Paranormal Mike, and hopefully the 401k files. We did a show last week with those guys, and we're going to be making that a weekly thing. Again, guys, I am very sorry, but Poptart has left the show. Um, Unfortunately, due to some, you know, personal issues that he has, uh, we will no longer be associated with him. But we live and we learn, guys, and we move forward. I have enough content and things going on where it's not even going to be a blip. So support him in everything he does. Support, love his perspective, and exterior knowledge on YouTube, and check out our descriptions in the our links in the description below to support our sponsors like TubeBuddy and like Movie Palette. Also, make sure to like, share, subscribe. We love you. Keep your eyes on the skies because you'll never know what you're going to find. We love you, and we'll see you next time.